Hi, and welcome. I am so super excited to have you here with one of our amazing guests today. But just before I introduce the gorgeous Pauline, just to remind you, we're here for the beautiful Love Uncensored Online Summit. Now, if you know anybody who you think would benefit from hearing these amazing experts talk about relationships, intimacy, love, and sexuality, I would love to share this interview with them. The more people we're talking to about love, sexuality, and intimacy, the more love we get to share in this world. And by God, don't we need it right now? So I'm going to read you Pauline's quick bio, and then we're going to have an amazing chat about this super woman who's doing incredible things in the space of love, intimacy, and sexuality. So Pauline Ryland is the intimacy whisperer. She's an intimacy and sex coach and educator. Pauline is a certified tantra teacher and facilitator, certified somatic sexological bodyworker, master trainer and master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. She's also done advanced subconscious reprogramming through the Erickson hypnotherapy and is a results coach and performance consultant. Pauline works with individuals and couples who are experiencing challenges with intimacy, sex and relationships, and everything in between. Pauline works with all aspects of mind, body and spirit to bring you to a place of alignment with your intimate and sexual desires, and specializes in libido coaching for men and women, as well as clearing emotional blockages and limiting beliefs. And my goodness, is this not a woman that you would want on your team when it comes to your sexuality? Pauline, oh my gosh, I'm in absolute awe.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything to help people in that area, I'm all for it.
Fantastic. So Pauline, tell me a little bit about, I mean, we've got the technical version, but I'd love to know from a practical point of view, what is the work that you do and what is it that you do to help people in their relationship?
Well, pretty well what we said at the beginning there, looking at anything, that's not working for somebody in whatever area that is, in their intimate life, sexually, libido, relationships. So I really just, have an initial chat with somebody and get sort of the core sort of things that's going on for them, get the idea of the thread of what's going on. And then I like to explore that because, there might be a problem that they present here, but I like to sort of go under that. There's always something below the surface and below the surface. So I like to dig down really below to see what the actual cause is. And then from that, I can work out what's required to bring about the changes to move them from A to B. Sorry, hands everywhere. To move them from A to B. So, it's such a vast area that I work in. I do a lot of work with libido, with men and women, and I do a lot of work with women that haven't experienced orgasm. So nothing brings me more joy when that turns around and I get these text messages say, guess what? So I'm like, yes. So that's probably a big area of my work, but it's also really varied with so many other different things that are going on. I work with women that have had sexual trauma, and abuse from young ages that they realise is impacting on their sexual life and their relationship. Working with couples that are disconnected and have had their whatever problems going on. So it's quite varied what I do.
So Pauline, what actually got you into this work? Because it's not your everyday kind of line of field of work, is it?
No, definitely not. I did admin and secretarial work for about 30 years, so it's quite an extreme difference. I think, when my husband and I divorced probably about 14 years ago, I started looking at myself and doing my own bit of personal journey and, looking at my stuff and peeling back the layers. And on that journey, I discovered something called the Kadoshkas, which is a spiritual sexuality teaching from a shamanic perspective, sweet medicine Sundance path. And I went to that course, and I'd heard about it for a few years. I was a bit of a prude actually back then. I was still very sexual and very orgasmic, but I was still quite a bit of a prude. And so I went to this workshop, and something in me, in that workshop, just completely and utterly cracked me open to this whole other level, and sitting around naked and, in lingerie and different things. It was just like, who is this person? Who am I? And it was somewhere between level 1 and 2 that I got this sort of message came through from spirit, which was a bit like, you're a sexual healer. And I was a bit like, what is that? I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what it meant. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I just sort of passed it, really. And then when I completed all my NLP training, which was in the middle of all of that, we were looking at our niche, and I was with a girlfriend, and we were doing this process to come up with our niche. And every time I opened my mouth, you know, because it was about health and emotional well-being, because that's what I was passionate about, she just literally slammed her fist in her hand and kept saying, boring, boring. And I was a bit like, well, what am I going to, well, I don't know, you know, and I felt like my back was against the wall. And then all of a sudden, out of my mouth comes the word sex and sexuality. She goes, that's it, you know more about sex. And then you go, I know, because of the work that I've been doing on my personal journey. And I was a bit like, oh, okay, really? Well, you've got to go, and we'll see what happens. So it sort of unraveled and developed from that, really. And so I started my practice using the principles of an NLP coach, which is exactly what I said, you know, before, looking at the problem, going below the surface, below that, to find out the actual cause, and then working out how to get them from A to B to where they want to go. And I did draw on my own knowledge, but after a while, I was a bit like, am I winging this? Do I really know what I'm talking about? Like, I was having success, but, you know, we always are our own worst judges. So I went off and studied cancer and became certified. And then a bit later on, I realised that that wasn't really answering for me the physiological problems that were going on, because I was starting to see a lot of libido issues. And I was like, there's got to be a link somewhere with the actual physical being. And that's when I studied sexological bodywork, and that's what just pulled it all together to be able to work mind, body, and spirit. So that's sort of how I got started.
So tell me about that. Tell me, what is sexological body work? What does that actually look like in your practice, Pauline?
Well, I'm probably not a strict sexological body worker because I combine everything in together. So, you know, it's really hard to just sort of separate what it actually is. I guess it's about somatic learning, so learning through touch to bring about the changes, because the more that we touch ourselves or our touch, it will start to create new neurological pathways which will change things on a cellular level. So I guess that's one way of describing it. So by getting people to do certain practices at home to start working on their libido, then the more that they do these practices, the more it imprints, the more it starts to change that neurological pathway. So I guess that's probably the easiest way to describe that. And then there's other levels where, you know, people lose sensitivity in their genitals. Women numb out in their genitals for a variety of reasons. Women experience pain when they have sex. Men have issues, you know, especially some men that have been circumcised. They have very sensitive foreskin areas from being circumcised. But that's another area that we work with and are trained with to bring about changes there. So that's quite phenomenal. That's the side of the work that I really love. And looking at consent and boundaries and, you know, feeling into what's right for you, because, you know, we often do things in relationships that we don't want to do, but we're so conditioned, you know, from a little child, go and give Auntie Bertha a hug, and Auntie Bertha's this big woman with this big bust, and you're a little kid, and you just get swept up, and you don't want to hug Auntie Bertha, but it's like, no, go hug. So we're always pushed to do things that we don't want to do, and so when we get into intimate and sexual relationships, we often have not often, we pretty well always have trouble speaking out about what we want to do, what we don't want to do, what we like, what we don't want to, what we don't like, and being able to express that in a way that's right for us. And so that's probably a good part of sexological bodywork, respecting boundaries, and it makes sense as well. Yeah.
I love that, Pauline, because I've had those experiences as well. You know, go and sit on your uncle's lap, and they're not even your uncle. But also on the other side of that, I had times where, you know, as a young girl, I used to love being touched, and I'd ask people to tickle my back or, you know, play with my feet, and I'd get messages from other people saying, you can't do that. You can't ask people to tickle your back or to sit and rub your feet for hours. And so the lessons that we have to relearn and unlearn in this sexual path to really getting to that space of connecting and knowing that it's okay to say no, but it's also okay to say, hey, this is what really, lights me up and what I need right now.
Yeah.
So, Pauline, just in terms of you were saying that sometimes you give people work to do, say, for example, when they have low libido. Can you give us an example of some of the homework that you might give to somebody who was experiencing low libido?
Yeah, I guess the first thing, there's sort of like different stages that I'll do. So the first stage is really about connecting to self and loving self. So different techniques to love themselves, and some of it's a little bit fake it till you make it. And then getting people in their bodies, because we're so disconnected, and that's a big thing that I work with. We are disconnected when we're having sex. We're not present, and come from that space of that we're busy doing sex. We're not actually being in sex and experiencing sex. There's quite a big difference. So when I can teach and educate how to get into their body and get present, then everything starts from that place of becoming present. So I give them activities and exercises to get them present, get them connected to their heart, get them connected to their heart, their genitals, because we're not just disconnected from our bodies and off either in our heads or off in the cosmos. We also disconnect from our heart and genitals. I used to say this even before I really knew what it meant, that it's like our heart and genitals have separate postcodes. And so we need to bring that into alignment. I used to say that, I didn't even know why. And then I got the aha, it's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. It's about bringing all that connection in, and if people have had, and there's lots of reasons we disconnect, we disconnect from shame and guilt, whether it's known or unknown, on that subconscious level. If you've had any form of sexual trauma or abuse, we disconnect. We can disconnect because of low self-worth. A woman that might not want to be on top when they're having sex because, your boobs are going everywhere and everything's flapping around and you've got that self-conscious and self-worth. So you might do it, but you disconnect because you don't want to own it. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm out there. I'm not in my body experiencing it. So a lot of it starts with the really base stuff of being connected and loving themselves. So I guess I do that and combine it in the session with doing things to empower them and change those limiting beliefs that are the drivers, and looking at the emotional drivers. I do a lot of work around the 5 main emotions, anger, hurt, fear, sadness and grief, because they are drivers on other levels that affect us in our intimate life as well. So I start with that sort of stuff before I even get to the libido stuff. That's sort of the first thing. And then I guess the next level is activating the sexual energy and doing exercises to start moving that sexual energy and awakening that part. And then we start sort of, slowly ramping things up more and more.
I love that. So I can see just from that explanation that the different areas, how you're bringing those different modalities into the work that you're doing. So
yeah.
It's beautiful to speak to you because you have so many different aspects of what you bring into talking about creating that connection with self and then with a partner and reconnecting, as you're saying, getting on the same page or having the same postcode between heart and genitals.
Yeah.
And that's a really great way of looking at it, because we do often disconnect. And I look at things like pornography, and you can see that through the process of pornography, the massive disconnect that there is, through the process. It's huge. So yes, I see that a lot.
And I work a lot. Excuse me. I work a lot with men around that. It's not like saying it's wrong to masturbate to porn, but having the awareness and how you can use porn in a more productive way. And again, because most times when men are masturbating to porn, they're just chilled out in a chair or the couch or the bed, and they've got, their hands on themselves, doing mindlessly playing with themselves while they're actually out of themselves looking at the screen. Like, how can we bring that back into you? And also for men, it's also about, it's not just about the genitals. Your whole body is an orgasmic expression. And so what would it be like to actually get in touch with the other parts of your body and awaken that, so you can have whole body experiences? But that's what I sort of teach men, that it's not that one dimension, that there's many dimensions, and that they could be multi-orgasmic and have body orgasms. And they're like, wow, really? So it's about awakening them to that as well.
And I'm sure Yeah, and I'm sure that the ears would prick up at that point. What? A multi-body orgasm?
Really? What's that about? How's that work? And then once they start connecting to themselves fully, 9 times out of 10, they start to get it and they start to experience it. You know, I just have to share. I just had got a text from a young man I'm working with at the moment around premature ejaculation, which is probably the most challenging area to work with. And he sent me a text on Saturday going, I don't know if this is very professional of me to send you a text, but thank you so much for the work that you're doing with me. I'm on fire. I'm like, woohoo. And I'm like, yay, these are the sort of text messages I like. So obviously he's having success in that area. So it's like, yay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
That's awesome, because I believe that, you know, the more people that feel sexually connected are directing their energy, their sexual energy into positivity, the more peace we will have on this planet.
Oh yeah, it's not an apple a day keeps the doctor away, it's an orgasm a day keeps war at bay. You know, that's my mantra. Totally. Imagine if the whole world had an orgasm every day. It's like a no-brainer, really.
It really is.
There wouldn't be space for all the crap that's going on out there. So that's my mission, to turn the world on one day at a time.
And that's exactly what the love revolution is about. It's knowing that intimacy and sexuality, there is this incredible opportunity that exists inside of us to get rid of hate, fear, anger, all of those emotions that you were talking about before. It's huge, and it starts with us and starts with sexuality.
Yeah, and being able to really love ourselves for all our flaws. None of us are perfect. Even the most beautiful looking person in the universe, Miss World, she's still got flaws, but it's about not focusing. I've got a girlfriend of mine who's in fashion, and I love her saying, it's like not focusing on the shitty bit, focusing on the whole. Otherwise, you're just going to zoom in on that big nose or that or this or whatever it is, and then you can go, oh my God, yeah, I'm really ugly. So it's not focusing on the shitty bits. We've all got bits that we don't think are perfect, but you can't live your life functioning and focusing on that. You've got to, you know, embrace your whole being, internally and externally.
That's it, exactly. Pauline, you do a lot of work with women who are experiencing vaginal pain. I'd love you to talk me through some of the work that you do in that space.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's part of the sexological bodywork training, and so quite often women experience pain when they have sex, and there's no specific reason why they have that. You know, and the age bracket that I work with, you know, I've just recently finished working with, I think she's about 25, and the most recent was, before that was a 72-year-old woman and a 66-year-old woman. So we can sometimes experience pain because maybe when we're having thrusting, maybe, you know, the penis is a bit large, there's not enough lubrication, and so that can cause aggravation. We can also go through changes at menopause where we're just not lubricating enough. We can also experience pain because we have what's called adhesions in the vaginal wall. So adhesions can come from childbirth, you know, when we tear, when we've had stitches, when we have episiotomy. Those scarring tissue can end up on the vaginal wall. Women that have C-sections or endometriosis or any sort of surgery can create internal adhesions. So even a surgery up on your shoulder, that scar when it repairs has what's called an internal adhesion. And those internal adhesions are a little bit like octopus tendrils, and they travel throughout the whole body, and they attach to fascia and ligaments and tendons and organs. So, and they can end up in the vaginal wall as well, which can create the pain. 9 times out of 10, when I'm working with women, I actually don't find adhesions. It doesn't come from that, but that can be the case. Normally, it's just that for whatever reason they've experienced pain, and so when they experience pain or burning, what happens is the switching in the brain and neurological pathway just goes pain out, shut down. So it will shut down, and so they're in that their system, their autonomic nervous system is in sympathetic mode all the time. They're in that flight flee mode because they're like waiting for that pain to hit. And so that can occur. Or the other side of that coin is that they will just completely numb out. So what I do is it's very gentle and very delicate work, but I work with organic castor oil and glass, and I get on the table with them and have their legs like over me. So I'm sitting on the table and their legs over me. And I get them into their body and get them very, very present in their body. And then I very slowly will insert my finger into the vagina and just apply really gentle pressure. So if that's the vagina, you know, and I guide them and tell them what I'm doing so that it, you know, so they're not got any, so they just know what's happening. Because it's pretty daunting to have someone doing that. So I'll just go, you know, I'm here at 12 o'clock, and I'll just be just a little bit on the edge, and I'll slowly work my way around, and then I'll go, okay, then I'm going in a bit deeper, and I'll just go in, you know, like a little bit at a time, inserting my finger, so my finger's fully inside the vaginal wall, and what I'm doing is mapping. So what I'm doing is I'm feeling the pain point. So, and I'm only pressing very, very lightly. It's very light work, but it's very deep work because it's really held on the cellular memory. So, you know, and I get them to tell me on a scale of 0 to 10 if there's any pain, and I don't want them going over 5. In fact, I don't really want them going over 4. So if, let's say, they say, oh, that feels like that hurts, I go, well, what pain level would that be? They'll say a 4. I go, okay, so I'll just hold it very lightly, get them to breathe, ask them if there's pain anywhere else, because sometimes they might experience pain in the stomach or up here or, I don't know, on their knee or something. So if there's pain somewhere else, I'll hold that point as well. And I just get them to breathe. And I guess it's like a trigger point release work, and it just slowly will back off, and I'll go, what is it now? And I'll go, it's a 1. So I'll get them from a 4 to a 1. Okay, move to the next point. And I record all that. So then the next time they come in and see me, we just go through it again, and eventually we get less and less pain points. So working with organic castor oil is the key because it's the healer. I get them to work with organic castor oil in between. So I'll get them, you know, if they can handle an organic tampon, I'll get them to immerse a tampon, or it has to be organic, tampon into the organic castor oil and insert that overnight. If they can't handle that, then I'll just get them to put whole organic castor oil on their finger and insert, you know, and rub the inside of their vaginal walls with that, just to help with the healing. Now, some women will go, oh, it's feeling really good because they're doing it themselves. But then when they come to me, it's like, oh, it hurts. So it's very different having someone actually do the mapping. But, you know, it's an unknown of how many sessions it will take. I think on average, with all women I've worked with, it's been an average of 4 to 6 sessions. A couple of only been, you know, 2 or 3 sessions. And, you know, it's just life-changing. You know, I had a 66-year-old woman that for 6 years was experiencing pain, and she'd been to the GP, she'd been to the gynecologist, and they've got no clue as to why. I will do some exploratory surgery and some laser. Well, laser is only going to complicate it even more. And so, yeah, 6 years to the point where she wanted to divorce her husband, and they loved each other so much, second marriage. Anyway, we turned that around, and, you know, 3 weeks after she got down to 0 pain, and she probably had the most pain points I've ever seen, I got a text saying, thank you so much. You know, who would have thought we'd be having, like, a honeymoon and having this amazing sexual life in our mid-60s. So it's phenomenal work, and sexological body workers, you know, are all around Australia, so it's something that women can sort of search and Google for and find someone that can do that work.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because no woman should be experiencing pain.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the work that goes into making sure, like, what is the pain there for? And I've spoken to women who've had that pain for ages, and they're just like, well, this is normal. It's always been like this. Like, no, honey, it's not normal.
Not normal.
Go, you know, and have that fight flight reflex. I mean, to be in a space of intimacy and have that, there's not going to be the connection that you want with your partner, because like you said, that we're just completely shutting down, and it's a protective mechanism. So
yeah,
get that sorted out. If you're in pain, honey, like, check out Pauline's website. I'll have a link there if you're in the Sunshine Coast, or as you said, there's a lot of people doing this work that can really open you up and support you in having more connected sex.
Yeah.
Pauline, for people who are listening right now, who are feeling a little bit disconnected from their bodies, what are some suggestions that you have for them to get back in touch, get connected with their body so that they are having more intimacy, more positive sexuality in their lives?
Okay, well, the first thing I do is I teach my clients a little process that only takes a minute, which is called the body scan. And that's just connecting into the body and just having an awareness of each part of the body, not having to change it, but just having an awareness of how that part of the body is feeling. So just take them through it from their ankles all the way up their bodies and just get them to connect in with each part of the body. So that's something that they can do, just closing their eyes and just connecting to their feet, connecting to their ankles, and just name each part of your body and work your way up. Include the genitals, part of the body, don't exclude it. So that would be one way. What I do is I get them all the way up to their head, I guide them through it, and then then I get them to go back down to their feet and then just scan in their own time all the way up and then take 3 breaths into heart state. And I recommend that people practice that 6 to 8 to 10 times a day.
Wow, 10 times a day.
Yeah, it only takes a minute.
Yep, 10 minutes.
You go to the toilet, you plug into my head, you plug into my recording, because I usually text to my clients, and just listen. It only takes a minute. It's great for people who have anxiety and stress as well, but it's just a way of getting really connected and getting really present. Another way is put your hand on your belly, your lower belly, you've got your belly button, like 3 fingers below the belly button, is what's known in different areas as the Tantien, in martial arts, or the Hara, Ki. It's got lots of different names. At one point in the sweet medicine that I was an apprentice with for 4 years, it's got different names, but that's your point that grounds you. So you can just put your hand there and just, breathe into it. It just grounds you and it connects you into that point, which then connects you into earth and just brings you into presence. So that's a great starting point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Pauline, I've had a look on your website and you have some amazing, amazing resources there. In fact, I was really surprised by how much you give. You obviously come from that very heart-centered space where you're just in that space of giving. And there were some amazing resources that I saw on there, some conversations of all the way from BDSM to penis play. You had some really cool stuff there. So can people jump on and have a look at your website and grab some of your free resources to learn more about you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, I've got lots of my talks up there. So, people always get lots out of the talk. I've talked at Woodford and Mind Body Spirit Festival and Sex Bar. I don't know which ones are up there, but there's a fair few up there, and other interviews that I've done with radio programs. So I think when people listen to those things, it definitely will resonate somewhere with them that, yeah, this is an area that I need to look at more, or that's happening for me. And then from that, if they want to, they can just, get in touch with me. I work with Skype with clients all around Australia, so, I can always do Skype sessions. I only need people in my room if I need their body to actually do body work on them, and that's not always the case. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Great. So, Pauline, just share with us quickly what your web address is, although I will also put the links in below.
Yeah, sure. So it's www.paulineryland.com, and Ryland is spelled RYELAND.
Fantastic.
Or you can just Google intimacy whisperer, and that will come to me as well.
Beautiful. Pauline, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you here. For our listeners, thank you for sticking with us. Please jump on and support Pauline and the work that she's doing around the globe. It is absolutely beautiful to be speaking to women like you, Pauline, who are doing this work, and really, and I can see your passion flow through. It's really exciting.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, there's a period where I was going to let it go, and I was like, I just can't let this go. It's who I am and what I do, and there's just no way I could do anything else. So it took a long time to find the passion for me. It's something I've only been working with for about the last 8 years, but I wouldn't change it.
Beautiful.
So yeah. Cool.
So to our listeners, like I said before, if you know anybody who you think would benefit from listening to this, anybody who feels that they need more support around their sexuality, around intimacy, around connecting with their body, please feel free to share this interview with them. The more people experiencing this work and having the opportunity to connect with people who can support you, the better off it is. Also, I'd love you, if you haven't already done it, jump onto the Love Revolution, the Facebook group, where we have daily conversations about intimacy and sexuality, where we share good stories and you have the opportunity to share your own sexual experiences as well. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor. See you on the next interview.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.